Your hustle's name isn't just what people are going to call it. It's a trigger to a feeling, the feeling you want to leave behind, the promise you make every time someone hears it. Welcome to week 2, day 9 of starting your side hustle. We're taking 28 days, 28 small steps to build a business that's meaningful, impactful, profitable. Today's focus is on how to secure a domain name worthy of your hustle. And that's in the context of us not living in 2005, 20 years ago, which was the last time single-word.com domains were generally affordable. We'll cover how to get all the social media handles you're going to need within a similar context. This time, 2015, 10 years ago, when it was easy to get the same username across multiple platforms. The questions we want to answer. 1. What name will make your hustle easy to find, remember, and trust? 2. How can your domain name and social media handles reinforce your brand story and amplify your mission? Obey the blue squirrel. I think he's pooping a nut, I think. Doesn't matter. Quizzy's 2 questions are always there to help narrow your focus. You're building the exact muscles that'll get you momentum without spreading yourself too thin. Okay, we're talking naming, so I was originally going to use the example of Eloden, master namer, if you know, you know, but that would have lost too many of you. So instead, for some real-life inspiration, and not the kind you think you're going to get, let's talk about Stuart Butterfield, the founder of Slack. I love this example because the word Slack has all to do with work or chat or business, or at least it didn't when Stuart and his team pivoted from their failed gaming startup to building a workplace chat tool. They knew, like we all intuitively know, that their new name had to be simple, memorable, instantly signaling clarity. After brainstorming hundreds of options, they landed on Slack. And this is the most important part. The domain was available. And by that, I mean they paid $60,000 for it. $60,000. Where I personally think the right price should be about, $15, not $60,000. It was 2013, so they also easily secured matching social handles. And all the founding business literature on the matter will say things like, that consistency and clarity continues to make Slack easy to find and trust, helping it spread rapidly through word of mouth. And while I don't need to tell you that Slack's become a staple in workplaces worldwide, buying the domain was a narcissistic bullshit spend. Marketers will die on this hill, but they're not bootstrappers. Slack could just as easily have been named an infinite number of other equally meaningless names. Did you know, for instance, that yakko.com is currently for sale, reduced to like $27,399? It's a steal, really. The point is twofold. 1, that yes, the right name and digital identity can help turn a tool into a movement. And 2, if someone offers to sell you revolution.com for the cost of a hardworking employee for your hustle, invest in that employee instead. I'm going to assume, because you're consuming this content on the most addictive social media platform out there, that you're a digital sophisticate. You might not be able to teach a class on the nuances of branding or digital strategy, but it's the river you swim in daily. You probably know what it means to get a domain name. You might have to Google how, but it's not going to stump you. As for having consistent social media handles, if my grandparents can do it, you can do it. Maybe not as good as Nana or Pop-Up, but well enough that I have nothing to teach you. The why on both domain names and social media handles is also easy. Your hustle needs to be discoverable. But even the word discoverable isn't right. Your domain name will never be your brand's first impression because no one's out there typing random domain names into their browser hoping to discover you. Your domain name is where people go once they've heard of you. So you don't need to invest big bucks in getting a one-word domain address. It doesn't have to be a nonsense word like Etsy or Kodak or Synergy, or it can be anything that affirms your brand message. For instance, if I wanted to sell this series, I could look for any stupid little sentence from the transcripts of the series, like, studies show you only work 3 hours a day on your corporate day job. What if the other 5 built your future? That's me doing an impression of me, I guess. I could buy the domain The Other Five. It's available and it has my story built into it. I could totally make that into an ad campaign. Build your future with theother5.com. Cost of domain, $11.99. The point is that all the work you did last week on your why, on your what, all the work you did yesterday on your brand identity, you're sitting on a domain name. You just don't know it yet because your hustle tells a story. And there are probably 2 or 3 great lines in that story that would be a respectable domain name. You just need to read your own story with that lens. Your domain name, like your hustle, needs to signal credibility, memorability, maybe even some professionalism, like, but here's the fun side. The best domain names don't describe what you do. They evoke why you do it. They're short enough to be memorable, unique enough to stand out, intuitive enough to be typed without error. liquiddeath.com, right? No troll ever thought of parting that name. And it doesn't just tell you what they sell. It invites you into their crazy. They could have spent $30 million on water.com. Worth every penny, said no one ever. Liquid Death also nails it with their social media handles, at Liquid Death, across platforms. And they adapt their tone to each medium. On TikTok, they lean into absurdist humor. On Instagram, they emphasize edgy visuals. On Twitter, they engage in witty banter. Their handle, as perfect as it is, almost doesn't matter because their content is so consistent, so platform native, so perfect for each platform. Okay, take a moment. Try to answer day 9's question for your hustle without AI before you listen to the next section, the 28-day Ivy-League MBA. I personally think it's useful to try to answer the question without AI first, but if you'd rather do that, the AI teaching assistant prompt will drop with today's case study in a couple hours. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Lunch Break Millionaire Day 0, or go over to superserious.com where I'm posting daily transcripts. The AI prompts are there too. That's it. Hustle smarter. Day 9, part 2 of Lunch Break Millionaire, where we turn whatever you're eating for lunch into an Ivy League MBA degree. It's Tuesday. Perfect for tacos, like yesterday was. But I would recommend going full-on New York food cart, an authentic halal chicken shawarma. And do you know which food cart in New York City has the original halal chicken shawarma? No one does. Why? Because they never picked up today's Ivy League MBA skill. Brand asset protection. 2025, your domain name and social handles are your storefront, your handshake, your reputation, all rolled into one. If you want people to find you, trust you, remember you, you've got to lock down your digital real estate before you do anything else. This isn't about just getting the .com. It's about making sure your name, your story, your mission show up in the same way everywhere your audience looks for you. So let's make this real. Imagine you come up with the perfect name for your hustle, something that feels right, that you're excited about, that people will remember. You go to register the domain and, sorry, it's taken. I guarantee you it will be. Or worse, you grab the domain, but at your hustle name is gone on Instagram, TikTok. So now you're juggling weird underscores and numbers and your brand looks like a knockoff. It's a trust killer. Consistency is what makes you look legit from day one. If your audience can't find you in one search, they'll move on to someone else. This is where the MBA skill comes in. Brand asset protection. It means you're not just picking a name you love. You're making sure you can own it everywhere. That means checking domain name availability, grabbing all the major social handles, and even thinking a step ahead. Do a quick trademark search to make sure you're not stepping on anyone else's toes. You want to avoid the nightmare of building a brand for months only to get a cease and desist letter or have a rebrand because someone else owns your name in another industry. Now, let's tie this back to today's question. When you're asking, what name will make your hustle easy to remember, easy to find, easy to trust, you're really asking, can I own this name everywhere my audience hangs out? And when you ask, how can your domain name and social handles reinforce your brand story and amplify your mission? you're thinking about how every digital touchpoint tells the same story. If your name is different on every platform, your story gets muddled. But if you're at your hustle name everywhere, your brand feels bigger. It feels more professional, way more memorable. Take a second, do a full sweep of your top name choices. Don't just check the domain. Check Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, even the weird platforms that you don't think you'll use yet. There are free tools out there that let you search all the major platforms at once. If your first choice is gone, don't settle for a Frankenstein handle with random dashes and numbers. Either rethink the name or get creative with a modifier that still feels on brand. And if you find a name that's available everywhere, grab it, even if you're not ready to use every platform yet. That's how you protect your digital turf. Keep telling yourself that the brands that last aren't just clever, they're consistent. They make it easy for people to find them, trust them, talk about them. Locking down your name and handles is the first real act of brand protection you'll ever do. And it's one of the most important. That's how you hustle smarter. Okay, this is day 9, part 3 of Lunch Break Millionaire. This is the segment where we #build in public, where I answer the daily questions every hustle should using the MBA skills we just learned and showing my work, sharing how I'm building my hustle from scratch. No filters, just the real journey. You don't need to actually like or subscribe. I'm not doing this for the clicks. I'm doing it so I can sing. But if you're leveling up from other creators you follow or know, introduce us. I want to learn from them and help them level up too. We all deserve better than just making rich people richer. Okay, so I bought a domain name for my latest hustle, meditorial.com. Spent a whopping $200 for it because someone was on it before me, and they were just very gracious and let me have it. I'm not sure I actually need it because I already have superserious.com and it gets decent traffic because of my blogs. But I bought Meditorial because it feels like my product's name. And if you haven't seen the demo video, go watch it right now. I've linked to it in the post summary. One way of describing the product I've built is that it lets you editorialize everyone else's content. So if you're a creator, your content gets more eyes on it by getting seamlessly integrated into every popular site out there, but not random content on those sites, cool related content, complementary content. So if you're a creator, your content follows your followers' digital habits, where they go, what they read. On all those other sites, your content becomes a meta editorial, a meditorial. I'm sure that's way too clever for its own good. To be fair, I wanted to call it Amplify. That was my second choice. And every AI chatbot on the planet loved Amplify as a name. But they all loved it because there are already a ton of products on the market named Amplify. It's one of those common product names every company uses, like Pulse, Nexus, Spark, Catalyst, Athena, Amplify. According to AI, each one of these great names conveys action, innovation, simplicity, qualities that resonate with both consumers and businesses. Another quote, they strike the perfect balance between branding and adaptability. Oh, much better than my first choice, cheese part. Joking aside, my first real choice for the product was going to be waaaaaaay, M-U-A-H-A-H-A. I am so not kidding. As a company name, as a product name, it reflects everything I stand for. Playfulness, independence, finger in your eye, ownership, freedom from exploitation, freedom from algos. It's direct, memorable, and tied to my purpose. As for the social media handles, the exercise made me think of this. If you know, you know. Look, I'm not sure I need a new social media handle that's distinct from my current channel. At least not until we're large enough to hire a social media manager. And by then, the social media landscape will be fundamentally different. Plus, waaaaaaay has already taken. So, and they're selling it for like $1 billion. I could go with Be the Algo on a couple of platforms, but the squeeze ain't worth the juice. So I'm going to stick with educating squirrels. I'm Still glad I did today's exercise. The process wasn't just administrative for me, it was deeply clarifying. You should definitely do it too. It'll force you to articulate your hustle in its simplest terms, to distill your mission into a few words that could fit in a URL or a handle. And that clarity will brighten that guiding light we started to build last week. The exercise will also drive home the idea that branding isn't just about aesthetics, it's about meaning. A good domain name and consistent handles tell people who you are before they even click. They create trust, signal professionalism, set the tone for everything that follows. And a lot has to follow if you plan to hustle smarter.